Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline at Pixie Dust PhD. We are leaving for our quick jaunt down to Walt Disney World, just Magic Kingdom and Epcot for a little bit of the 50th anniversary feels in a few days. In this video, I'll show you how I really plan for my park days to ensure that they're basically successful. It's definitely a lot of prep work, but then I bring what I call my theme park cheat sheets along with me to make sure I have a great day. People definitely learn differently and take in information in different ways. This works super well for me. I'm hopeful it may be helpful for you too. This is definitely really only a method that's going to work for people who like to plan out their trips. If you basically just make your park reservation, show up, and let the day happen, this is not a video for you. I'm the kind of person that will pore through the Disney World website or app to see what are the times for the various entertainment offerings, what kind of characters are meeting, what rides are down, that kind of stuff. Since I do that anyway as I go through things, I just keep notes on it and rearrange them to make my day easier. Generally speaking, all this information is available to you in the My Disney Experience app. The day you're in the park, you can simply scroll through, you can look at wait times for rides, then you'll know what rides are down, you can look at what characters are meeting, you can look at entertainment offerings, etc. And while I find this relatively straightforward and usable, and I'm not here to bash on the user interface of My Disney Experience, it's just not laid out in a way that works for me and how my brain wants to process information. For example, sure, you can see all the characters and you can even look at them in list view to see who is meeting and greeting relatively at the moment. But if you want to know the times that they're meeting, whether that's a range of times or if it's specific set times, you have to click into each and every character. To the best of my knowledge, there isn't a page where you can simply go, what characters are meeting soon near me, and get a list of everybody that's meeting in the next 20 to 40 minutes or so. And that's really how my brain wants to process information. I want to see everything laid out in front of me so I can make the best decision. In order to make this happen, I make my theme park cheat sheets. So let's go through that. As my partner and I start to finalize aspects of our trip, we keep a master plan document. In this case, it's a Google Sheet that we share between us. I'm going to cover some of this information up for privacy's sake, but basically you can see that we've got all of the relevant days and what we'll be doing at what times. For example, on the day that we leave, we have our flight, the confirmation number we need for that, as well as the relevant times. From there, there's information on where we're going next. For us, that's Bay Lake Tower, and here we also have the confirmation for that. I tend to bold anything that's a set time, so reservations, in this case, that's dinner at Toledo. And any other considerations we might have for the day. For example, if our flight is early or very on time, we might have time to go get a pre-dinner drink. If that is the case, I've already worked out some logistics of where I might want to go. In my opinion, doing some of this pre-planning makes it much easier to make decisions on the fly. If it's 6 o'clock and we want to go grab a drink, we don't have to consider all of Walt Disney World Resort anymore. I have identified these 4 locations that will be convenient for us. And for any locations I'm not super familiar with when it comes to drinks and dining, I usually add a parenthetical to give me a cue of what is it that's here that I might be interested in. For example, here, I haven't written anything next to Tambu Lounge because we've been probably too many times, if I'm being honest, so I don't need a prompt. But when you're looking at Barcelona Lounge over at Coronado, I really don't know what that is, so my parenthetical here is G&T's, aka Gin and Tonics. Arrival day is pretty straightforward in this case because there's no parks and really just the one dinner reservation. But let's get into the park days. The first park day we have is Magic Kingdom, and you can see the first thing that I'm prompting us to do is wake up to make our first Genie Plus selection. From there we have the park hours, and I do make sure to double check this the day before we leave to ensure those are still accurate. Then I've got other key things of interest that have set times. The next line is Festival of Fantasy Parade. This starts at 12 or 3. Then we do have a 1:25 lunch reservation, and I think we could make it back into the park for 3 p.m., but it might be close, and that's why I've listed Festival of Fantasy above that, because the 12 p.m. showing may be the priority there. Then we've got the Beacon of Magic when the castle lights up. Apparently it only actually lights up once. It stays lit the rest of the night, but I want to see that happen, so that's at 6:30. And then of course, Enchantment, the fireworks, is at 8:15. The next line is the Mickey Celebration Cavalcade. I do kind of want to see everyone dressed up in their outfits, but that's not as big of a priority to me as Enchantment or as the actual parade, so that's kind of why it's listed down lower, even though chronologically, the times it's going, it's obviously before Enchantment. But you can see here, I have listed out the various times. That way, if we have some downtime, if there is a lull, I can check my notes real quick and be like, oh, you know what? It's not too long until the next cavalcade. Same with the Friendship Fair stage show. That's not a big priority for me, but if we're sort of in the area and we're kind of doing some downtime, we're not trying to go ride a ride or meet a character or anything, then hey, I have all of the times listed out for me already without having to go through the app. Next is the various character meet and greets that I'm interested in, and again, the times that they are meeting. So even though the park is open from 8:30 to 11 p.m., characters do not tend to meet that whole time. And that's true even for the ones that have set indoor locations. If you do want to meet characters, definitely check on the times that they are meeting and greeting because those times can be quite limited. I'll also probably go through and clean this up a bit to take out times that aren't relevant to me. For example, Aladdin characters meeting at 1:15 and 2:30. Since we have this 1:25 lunch, I don't think that's going to matter. Below characters, you can see I've listed out some quick service dining options. So we do have sit-down lunch scheduled, but we're going to need to eat again sometime after that, and I don't really want to leave the park again. So before all this, I went through the Magic Kingdom quick service menus and pulled out some items that I think might be interesting. Here you can see I've listed the quick service dining location itself as well as the relevant times, typically just the closing times, but sometimes I will list the whole range, and then the item or types of items I may be interested in if I don't know it off the top of my head. And finally, for my Magic Kingdom summary, I've listed various magic shots I'd be interested in. You can find these on the Disney PhotoPass Facebook page. If you go to their albums, they list current magic shots by location. Though your mileage may vary, I've done this before and then gone to ask for a specific magic shot that I thought was happening. Supposedly it was, according to the Facebook page, but all of the actual PhotoPass cast members in the park said that wasn't a magic shot they were doing anymore. And in general, I try to list these out by order of interest. So there is a Pua magic shot that I just think is the cutest thing, and I really, really want it. So that's why that one's first. You could also group these by location instead of by desirability. Again, it just depends on how you best take in information and how you want your cheat sheets to be organized. I don't super mind walking back and forth across the park, so location or proximity is not my number one thing. For me, it's definitely desirability. How much do I want to experience this thing? Going over to Epcot, we have a similar layout. First things first, a prompt to get in that Cosmic Rewind virtual queue, and if not, try to buy an individual lightning lane. And then we need to remember that we're checking out that day, so we need to pack up and store our luggage before we head out to the theme park. For me, Epcot has less entertainment at set times that I definitely need to see, so now the next line simply is Harmonious. Then we've got the information on the 2 reservations we have, including a prompt to cancel the later one if we decide we don't actually want to do it. Next is Festival of the Arts information. If you are headed to Epcot during a festival, I would highly suggest you go through the festival information before you get there. Traditionally, Disney Parks blog has a post that lists out all of the food and drinks items at the various booths. Even just a quick skim through this to star things you really, really want to have to make sure you're not missing out. For me, it would be so sad to come home and then see social media posts or other creator videos highlighting a food item that I didn't even know existed, so I didn't get. By doing this prep work, I make sure I know what's available, and that means I can identify the things that I definitely want to get. For the food booths, I separate things out between things I really, really want to have and things that I kind of want, but it's fine if we don't get them. This top portion are those items that I really want to have, and then the drinks are in blue, food is in black. Then the second portion are things that I'm interested in, but it's not necessarily a must-do. If we happen to be walking by and the line is short, I would pop in and grab something most likely. And like we saw with my Magic Kingdom list, I have grouped this by priority or desirability. That's how I want to take this information in. It's definitely not grouped by location, so you may want to do it that way instead. Beyond the food booths, there are also some unique photo opportunities from Festival of the Arts that I have listed out here. And below that, again, we have magic shots at Epcot. And notably, I'm not listing out every single magic shot or every character that's meeting. Typically, it's just the ones that I really want or am generally interested in. There will always be some PhotoPass opportunities and foods and stuff that I really don't care about, so I just don't even bother writing it down. And moving outside of Festival of the Arts information here is general character meet and greets, again with times and locations. And finally, since we are checking out of Bailey Tower this day, then at the end is our new hotel information. Essentially, that's the gist of the final plan Google Sheet that we put together to keep us organized. We will have access to this on our phones. I do also copy paste it into an email that I send to ourselves. You could also copy it into the Notes app on your phone or similar. However, at the end of the day, I am kind of old school and there are times where I prefer not having to rely on technology. Smartphones are amazing, don't get me wrong, but they can be kind of unpredictable at times. Apps can be glitchy, the search function in the Mail app isn't the best, so I might lose track of this email I'm sending myself, all those things. Plus, I am always a little bit nervous about if my phone is out of battery, or if I drop it and it becomes unusable, or if I lose it altogether. I am that kind of person that brings paper copies with me when we travel. So I take all that information from our final plan Google Sheet and I make physical cheat sheets for me. My general plan is to carry index cards with me that have everything I need to know. For shorter trips, I usually have an index card per day. For longer trips, I'll usually just make a general index card for each theme park because the days are a little bit different. And then I might have a supplementary index card with our various reservations. For this trip, I'll plan on having 2 index cards. One will be Epcot front and back because there is so much information with those festival booths. The second will be Magic Kingdom on the front. The back of that index card will cover Disney Springs lunch options. I kind of skipped over that, but on Saturday we will be heading to Disney Springs, as well as all of the reservation/confirmation numbers. I do organize the index card cheat sheets fairly similar to that Google Sheet overall final plan. You can see I make use of all caps letters, bold, underline, and italics to really make categories pop. Things that stick out right away in the Magic Kingdom sheet, we have the parade, we have the Beacon of Magic, We have enchantment, then there's other entertainment. I'm definitely trying to meet Merida, as you can tell here, quick service dinner options, and then photo pass opportunities. I'll bring this physical cheat sheet with me in the park, and I can just take a quick glance to see what might be going on. For me, I find this a lot easier to digest than using the app. I find this especially true for character meet and greets. And like I said, the backside of the Magic Kingdom one will have Disney Springs lunch options. Here I'm listing the place as well as the opening time because I'm not totally sure what time we're going to get over to Disney Springs, and if we're there early, some things don't open until noon or so. For the most part, I know what these establishments serve, so you're not seeing too many parentheticals here. Also, generally, the names make the type of cuisine pretty obvious. But if it's something I'm not sure why I would write it down, then I do make the parenthetical. For example, Marketplace Snacks. Why is this here? Oh, they have bubble waffles. Fantastic. Then the bottom half of this index card will be our confirmation/reservation numbers. I'm going to block that out for privacy reasons, but you get the gist. And then the second index card will be all Epcot. For ease, I'm going to keep one side as the Festival of the Arts food booths, and then the other side will be much like the Magic Kingdom one, have basically everything else. The front side of this index card is mostly PhotoPass opportunities and character meet and greets, but these are my priorities. Then for the Festival of the Arts side of this index card, again, I split up the food booths between things I definitely want and things I kind of want. And while I do have a printer at home somehow, I generally don't have color ink, so rather than doing blue for drinks, I just make drinks italics. For me, some sort of visual difference between the food items and the drinks makes it really easy to skim through my card in case I definitely want to go get a cocktail or I definitely want a snack. Next, we just print this out and do a little arts and crafts time. All right, so we have 2 index cards, doesn't matter what kind. And then all the information we just went over that I put into PowerPoint. When I'm making these in PowerPoint, I do put this rectangle down and I adjust the size of this in PowerPoint to be 3x5 so I know it will fit in the index card. They always end up a little bit smaller than the index cards. Maybe these are not 3x5 index cards, maybe they're a little big. To make our cheat sheets, we will just cut these out and then I tape them down with packaging tape so they become laminated essentially, which is also good for Florida rain. Let's get to crafting. One. Two go together. And these 2 will go together. So to do this, I have my packaging tape and I'm just going to take strips out that will definitely be bigger than this index card at first. Try not to get them stuck to each other. I usually do 2 per side. So yeah, you can see that will work. Okay, so you want the part with the text on the sticky side. And then, oops, this is always a little tricky. You want there to be some overhang on the sides. Great. Okay, so we have, this is the text that we printed out, tape, and then you just place your index card on it. Okay. Set this aside for a second. Note which one it is. So this is an Epcot one for me. So we'll do another Epcot one. Same thing. That long enough? Yep. That was excessively long. That's okay. So now get your half-built one back. See, I like to put them facing the same way. Okay. So now here's the second half of that day. I'm just going to tape it in place. It does tend to curl up sometimes. That's fine, just know that that's happening, so you can be aware of it when you're putting down your second piece of tape. Okay, and then, just sort of make sure it's really sealed. Okay, to finish then, you just cut around the excess. Should be pretty easy because it's just packaging tape. It's not perfectly laminated by any means, but it does the trick. So ta-da! Both sides. This is our Epcot cheat sheet now. Okay, let's make the Magic Kingdom / Disney Springs / confirmation one. That's basically the process for me. As I'm doing planning for the trip, I take notes in a more chaotic manner, and then they get transcribed into our final plan Google Sheet in a very organized manner. Then I take that, dump that information into PowerPoint, and then print it out and make my little index card cheat sheets. I'll stick these either in my purse or my pockets. They're obviously very small, very lightweight, easy to carry around. Then anytime we're in the park and not totally sure what to do next or when XYZ thing is happening, I'll just whip this out and we're ready to go. I find it especially helpful for festival food booths to narrow down what you really definitely want and keep that on you. Don't necessarily trust your brain to remember. I also think these are wonderful for keeping track of various times for character meet and greets because a lot of them are limited and they do overlap. If it's 2 o'clock in Epcot, we might have to choose between meeting various princesses and I will have the information I need right in my purse. I hope you found this helpful and I would love to hear about what sort of organizational or planning tips and tricks you have to make your park days go smoother. And are you old school like me? Do you like having a physical something? I also like having the physical park map sometimes over just the app. Thanks so much to everyone who has left a like on this video and subscribed to the channel, shared with a friend, and left a comment down below. I really appreciate all of your engagement and support. I'm looking forward to hopefully smooth sailing on our theme park days thanks to this prep work, and I can't wait to take you along with me. May the rest of your day be magical, and we'll see you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.